Oh, I'm curious, no matter how things turn out for Ravi with whether he becomes a zombie or not, he was like the first in on the secret. Like he was the first human knowing about this. So what does he just think about how this world is changing and what's it like now in Seattle with how this dynamic is so different with zombies everywhere?
I think, Ravi's allegiance has always been to live, I think, predominantly. But also, like with Donnie, when he chose the side of, against the zombie truthers, it seems like he feels like supporting them, trying to cure them, trying to coexist with zombies would probably be his main goal. I think he feels like that's where he stands on that. And it sounds like, I make an assumption here because this wasn't one of the talking points, but it sounds like Ravi's not going to be particularly happy with Fillmore Graves' extremism, it seems. I guess it just doesn't fit with his ideology and his relationship to zombies.
I'm not the only one in this room, right, who got a little teary-eyed when Liv and Ravi said they loved each other in that scene.
Yes.
Come on.
Butch it up, Goldman.
I was saying that was like, sometimes when you're acting and you have this emotional scene, you have to you're either going to get it on the day, and especially in television, you don't get that long to kind of get into the zone. And, there's all these terrible techniques that you sometimes fall into. And I was saying it was really nice not to have to think about a dead dog and look at you. Because you actually really made me just cry. And it was nice that that was definitely not a phoned-in tear. So
I had this weird feeling when we were doing it. I was like, because we hadn't been renewed at that point. But I was like, imagine this is the last scene, because it goes full circle. I think you were saying Dan Etheridge, our EP, he wanted it to kind of tie into the pilot or resemble it in some way. And so it kind of felt like the end of that chapter in a weird way, even though it wasn't.
Well, I had been your guinea pig, and now you're being our guinea pig.
Yeah.
And it's sort of nice to share that role. It's not Dr. Monster so much anymore. It's, there's this kind of...
Two monsters.
Couple of monsters.
Two doctors and two monsters.
Couple of monster doctors.
Malcolm, early on, Clive was sort of, a lot of fun was had with Clive because he was kind of a stoic guy who would sometimes we'd see how much things might throw him based on weirdness happening around him. Now that it's all out there, is there anything left to get him? Has he seen it all now and now he's kind of jaded to it, or is it still just a surprising world to him as he sees what the hell's around the corner and that people he knows might casually eat brains sometimes?
Yeah, I don't think Clive would be. That's something to adjust to. Just his reaction alone to Liv eating brains, he had a hard time dealing with that. So I think seeing other zombies and it just being an open thing, someone walking down the street and just snacking on a brain for with some juju beans, that is just.
Is Clive still watching Game of Thrones, even with all this going on? Is he on season 7?
Oh yeah,
Season 6?
Clive.
He's still up to speed.
Clive did see the premiere. Clive did see. He did watch it.
Did he dress up for it?
A few days ago.
Did he dress up for it?
He still dresses up as Drogo. He holds on to Drogo. Although Drogo didn't make it past season 1, but he holds on. He holds on. But yeah, it's an adjustment, and I think Clive. Clive takes risk, in terms of believing that that Liv is a psychic and she's solving crimes, and he went with it, So I always say that Clive kind of believes in magic. He believes in miracles. He believes in things like that. So now with this new world, new politics, he just has to adapt once again.
I would say that one of our big fears before we let Clive in on the secret of Liv being a zombie was that our writing staff enjoyed Clive's reactions to the weird things that Liv did
So great.
more than just about anything. Like we could just watch a supercut of Clive reacting, and we were so afraid of losing that if Clive got in on the secret. And then we realized we don't lose that at all. Clive still finds Liv's some of the things Liv does. Whoa.
Is that right?
Yeah, thank you. Pretty reaction worthy.
Yeah, that scene that they showed it in the clip of you pushing away the potato chip
That's
bag
fantastic.
is one of my favorite moments of the show. It's just you going, whoop.
David, last year, we discovered that Blaine it was a long con as far as the memory loss is concerned.
Super long con.
Yeah. It obviously torpedoed things with Peyton. Is he still trying to make that work again, or does he just know that it won't work again?
I mean, he still pines for her, but I pine to be Chris Pine and have a movie career. I mean, no offense, gang. I love you guys. But I've said this before. It's like his only chance was to move to like Branson, Missouri, or New Hampshire, and make artisanal candles with her, and have her never talk to her friends ever again, because he knew the jig was going to be up at some point. He was on borrowed time in that long con.
That was a storyline we
He's a
contemplated.
music man. What's that?
That was a storyline we contemplated.
You did
It
say
it didn't go over well in the room.
It was going to be a spin-off that you pitched to Pedowitz. Roth went, no. I mean, come on. Peyton's just, Peyton's Peyton. Allie's Allie. Of course Blaine still pines for her. Was there more to that question?
No, I'm just wondering do you think it sounds like he's going to be pretty focused on new endeavors and maybe Daddy coming back, but is that sort of also something that he would like to accomplish, getting back in her good graces, or is he tabling that for now?
I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know what they're coming up with. They could come up with anything because they're geniuses.
It's back to Candy No Fingers.
It's back to what?
Candy no fingers. That's what he called her. That's so
Yeah, they
mean.
can come up
And
with
then I
anything.
repeated it.
I'm sorry, Candy 8 Fingers?
Candy, no.
Candy.
Candy was I miss Candy.
Candy and Cougars.
bring back Candy.
Candy and Cougars. Candy and Cougars. But I believe that ship, Pain, #Pain, or Blatant, I believe that ship
Sailed.
has sailed.
Sunk.
Executive produced Dick Wolf.
Here's one thing I can suggest for this upcoming year is that there will be a gentleman that Rose takes a fancy to, Liv takes a fancy to this season, who we named simply for the shipper name that we know will stem from it.
I don't know. Guys, just so you know, I'm learning this for the first time as well.
I
I don't know this.
I count on you all to put these two names together. I think it'll be pretty clear when you meet him.
I can't wait.
Oh, what's the name?
Very
Oh,
curious.
what?
Wait, we don't get the name?
We don't get the name?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Speaking of ship names, I just thought, wouldn't it be crazy if Peyton wanted to date up the family tree and she started dating Angus and their ship name was Penis?
Wait.
You can read
can
his
use that.
fanfic.
You guys can use that
He's
if
got a
you want.
Tumblr with that story.
I'm trying to do in the abacus of my mind. Nothing adds up there. You're just dropping a G.
Pangus? That's still awful.
I still want you guys to get together so it can be Cliv.
Penis.
It's a
Pain
dick
in
joke,
your-
Anders. It's a dick joke.
There's
Quit overthinking it. I work at a lowbrow level.
One of the
Robert. There are people that are less than 18 years old
It's a
in
family
the crowd right now.
He works blue.
Grab a broom, Robert. Clean it up.
Allie, I'm curious, because Peyton is representing sort of the legal side of things, what is her take on Fillmore Graves, especially since it seems like they're suddenly like the law in town? What does she think about that and what they're doing?
I don't know. I mean, I think that she's torn in this scenario because obviously her best friend is a zombie, and I think that she is probably going to struggle going back and forth between what she actually really truly is going to stand by. She understands obviously that he is now kind of running things in the city, and so I feel like she would be respectful to that position. But at the same time, I think that she would fight against that just because of the ethics of what he kind of runs his business under. And I think that Raul, you mentioned the same thing. Like, I think that they have a similar mindset on how they think the zombie race should be treated, and that they shouldn't be just segregated. I mean, I'm so excited about this season 4 because I think it says such a commentary on what's happening in America right now, And so I think that you guys are going to really enjoy it. Just from the bullet points that we've been given, it makes me excited to see that we're making a show that actually is talking about what's happening in our society. But in another world with zombies, but you fill in the blanks there, you know? And I think that's awesome. I think that's like a great duty that we have as a television show, to be able to say something that means something more than just, hey, we're attractive actors or something, you know?
If we can save one zombie doing this show,
Yeah, exactly. One zombie.
we will have done our part.
One zombie doing the show.
Mr. Buckley, I actually wanted to ask about something that Rob Thomas mentioned earlier, which is the sort of maybe friction between Liv and Major this season, because maybe he is doing things that she doesn't quite agree with. Can you talk about that, and how much might they be on opposite sides going forward?
Oh, well, I think it makes for a very interesting relationship to see them. I like the fact that even though they've never really been able to make it work, they keep trying. And it's sort of like they feel like there's something there, but just it hasn't been the right time. Circumstances haven't been right. And I like that it's not easy for them. You know, it's something I'd like to see work too, but like, nah, make them struggle. Make, you know, like a little Sam and Diane. When I first talked to Rob before we did the pilot, I was like, so what's up? Is the end game here Liv and Major? And he was like, maybe season 6-ish. So I like it because, you know, it gives Rose and I some fun material, and I think that conflict makes for more interesting material.
And it also, yeah, I mean, I think real relationships, people do bring their, you know, not everybody thinks exactly the same, and I think it's a sign of their independence and self-worth that they're able to have these conversations and disagree on things, and for that to mean enough that it is difficult, you know. To me, that's just great three-dimensional characters and dealing with circumstances that they could never have foreseen, you know.
We're going to go to audience questions in a couple minutes, so get them ready. But I have to ask, there's a lot of great brains of the week, as it were, but I have to ask this cast about the Dungeons & Dragons episode.
Yeah.
And feeling, Mr. Anders, unfortunately, you were not present for that sequence, but what was it like for you guys to film that scene, which looked like a lot of fun, certainly watching it at home?
That was hands down my most enjoyable day on iZombie.
Yeah.
We all kind of, I think, ended the day agreeing that was the most fun we ever had shooting on the show, which I don't think is a stretch. I mean,
And we said it in the
hilarious.
group message, including David Anders.
Yeah.
Say what? What was that?
wanted him to
Say
know.
again. Say again.
You were in the group chat in the
like,
text
this was
message
the most
that said
fun
it was
day.
the
Yeah,
best
you're like,
day
thanks, I
ever.
missed out. Ever.
I'm sorry. I was watching sports or something. You know.
It truly was the most fun day, and I
Yeah.
mean, we've had a lot of really, really good days on this job, but just kudos to these guys for knowing that they could, I mean, the material, the idea of having us all sit and play a Dungeons
Yeah.
and Dragons game, it was just so much fun, and
The
everybody brought their
accents
A
as
game.
well, and all of it. It was
Roll
just
and
crazy.
Buckley were having this just like wimp off on the one side of the table, and their voices were getting higher and higher
Yeah,
and
we
higher.
were trying to do that thing to see who could make. You know, when your voice used to crack when you were 13 or 14, we wanted that to.
Yeah,
I
you
think
guys
you
were
got it
into
with
it.
dwarf. Dwarf. You were like broke on the way up.
Also, Rose crushed that brain, and
Oh,
her in
yeah.
that hat, and then doing that. None of us had in rehearsal. She didn't do the voice.
Yeah, no.
So like
Just
on the
shooting.
first take is when she's like, "What say you, fellowship?" she leans into it, and all of us are like, "Is she screwing with us, or is this?"
Yeah.
So there's like countless takes blown by either her laughing first or her seeing us trying to hold it in and then losing it.
Yeah.
It makes me want to do more group scenes, personally.
Yeah.
I know.
I bet you we ran like 14 hours.
Yeah,
overtime.
exactly,
I bet
yeah, I'm
we'll
sure.
never be allowed to do a group scene
Yeah,
again.
yeah. They're like,
It
yeah,
took
that's
so
not happening
long.
for season 4.
I remember when that episode aired in the UK, because it came out the day later. So when it came out in America, everyone was like, didn't say anything about the choice of accent I went for. Accents are not my strong suit. The amount
do your
of
Boston, do your
backlash I
Boston.
got from the UK lot who knew that I was doing the worst northern accent, Jon Snow.
So good.
I shouldn't have gone near it, but the next day. So I can't go back to the UK at the moment, so I got my US visa. Sorry, Kit.
To see part 1 of this panel, click that box over on the left, or to see part 3, click that box over on the right.